Hello, good morning. Thank you, Anastasia and Dennis, for having us here and giving us the opportunity to talk about what's happening in Gaza and what the doctors are trying to do to save the innocent and to save their colleagues in Gaza who have been targeted in the last year. Thank you, Mr. McGovern, for highlighting the plight of the children. Yes, the children. The world has failed its children. The 21st century world, led by the United States and the morals of the West, have failed the children of the world. Unfortunately, we are living in a world now that has become a child murder. A mass slaughter of children has been happening in the past 15 months, live streamed in front of all of us under the leadership, the support, the weapons, the bombs of the United States of America. Unfortunately, our current administration and system and leaders have exposed the complete moral bankruptcy of the West and of the United States, and they exposed their complete illegitimacy to lead this world. And I really think that the Western power and material power, their weapons have become a threat on humanity. And it is something that we as American, as Mr. McGovern mentioned, we the people refuse to be part of. I think the majority of the American people would refuse to be part of mass slaughter of children, mass slaughter of civilians, of women. I think our leaders are failing us. I think what the United States administration has been doing is a treason to the United States itself. They should be charged with war crimes, complicity in genocide, plus a treason to their country. This is putting the United States of America and its future at risk. This is a strategic threat to our country by being complicit in genocide, part of genocide. This will have long-term ramification that we will all have to live with. But focusing now on the healthcare, again, thank you, Anastasia, for bringing us our organization called Doctors Against Genocide, because we think that the medical community has the moral obligation to stand up, to protect life, to protect civilians when everyone else failed. When politicians failed, when governments failed, when international institutions failed, when the United Nations failed, the doctor is the lawyer of the poor. That has been said for the last 100 years. We go to school to protect life, to protect the sanctity of life. And when everyone else failed, it is our job. Literally, we go to school to do that. So we are living up to our oath. We will protect life. We will be the defenders of civilians, of children, of women, of doctors, of healthcare workers, and we will do whatever we can in our capacity to do so and to expose all the criminals, whoever they are, whether they are the genocidal Zionist state of Israel or the complicit United States. This organization also has a medical definition of genocide, because we think genocide is like a disease. It is one of the gravest public health disasters in history. We read about genocide in the last 20th century, and we found out that genocide has claimed the lives of almost 250 million people, which is way more than all the lives that have been claimed by all wars, including World War I and World War II. It is more than the lives that have been claimed by pandemics. That's why we think advocating against genocide and combating genocide is a public health service. It's a public health grave risk that the doctors should take upon themselves. And we have been fighting against this genocide from day one. Doctors Against Genocide was the first organization in the world to recognize this as genocide from day one. We did that not as a propaganda, not as accusations, but based on scientific research and scientific study and evidence. We had evidence from day one that what Israel is doing is a genocide and putting the whole fate of the Palestinian people at the risk of being mass slaughtered. by the belligerent Israeli forces and leaders and their genocidal rhetoric and army. We have been warning about against this all along. Unfortunately, because of the complicity of the United States and the unlimited amount of weapons and diplomatic support they are providing Israel, the whole world has failed to stop what has been happening from day one. We also noticed that part of the genocidal mechanism is the targeted attack on health care institutions and all civilian institutions, including schools, civilian infrastructure, and universities, because that is what differentiates genocide from regular wars. Regular wars, you fight armies. The wars between armies, between combatants, and usually you don't deliberately attack schools or hospitals or clinics because you just want to win the war. You don't want to destroy the ability of the society to survive or to recover or to build itself after the fact. Israel has been deliberately attacking hospitals and healthcare institutions from day one. Out of 36 hospitals that Gaza had before the war, only about 17 of them continue to be partially functioning. In the north of Gaza, there was 3 hospitals. 2 of them have been destroyed a while back. The last remaining hospital was called Kamal Udwan Hospital that was serving all the people in the north. Even that hospital was still compared to Western standards, a small hospital, but it is the only thing left that they have and was at least trying to provide whatever care they can. But Israel has put the whole north and this particular hospital under siege for the last 80 days. They did not allow any medication, did not allow any supply, did not allow any doctors to go in to help the people there. They have been bombing the hospital and killing people both inside and outside the hospital. We have been in touch with Dr. Hussam Abu Safiya, who's the director of this hospital, for the last few months. He has been sending messages and pleading to the whole world to protect the hospital, to protect the patients who are there, to protect his colleagues. Unfortunately, no one listened. They killed more than a dozen of the healthcare workers inside the hospitals while they're taking care of their patients inside the hospital. They have killed many patients inside the hospitals. They killed even the son of the director, Hussam Abu Safiya, but despite all of this, he continued to stand by his patients. He continued to insist on helping the victims and the injured people in his hospital. They went further and they injured himself. They targeted him and he got shrapnel wounds to his thigh. And despite the lack of care in the hospital, despite the absence of any surgeon in that hospital to help him and help the victims there to do the surgery, he suffered with this one for the last month. It actually got infected at one point because it was not treated properly and they don't have the proper treatment for him. And despite all of this, he continued to be in the hospital, and he sent us a video saying that he will not leave his patients. He did not go to school for 20 years to abandon his people, that according to his medical ethics, he will never leave his people, his hospitals. So in a way, he has become the leader of medicine in the world, of the real ethics and moral ethics of medicine in the world. And we continued to talk to him, try to help him. Unfortunately, no one listened. In the last week, as you all know, Israel attacked the hospital for the last time and put it on fire, abducted all healthcare workers, abducted more than half of the patients who were there. Total is about 200 people, 240 people were abducted, and the rest, they were forced to flee on foot to a nearby hospital that has been abandoned more than 6 months. So there is no service in that hospital, and all the patients, even the critically wounded patients, were forced to flee to go to an abandoned hospital where there is no care for them to have. Since then, we don't know the whereabouts of Dr. Hussam Abu Safiya. He's a colleague, he's a friend. We have been in touch with him. We saw Israel abducting him, of course, illegally. We have eyewitness account that he was tortured during that abduction. Since then, we've not heard anything about him. A group of doctors, the Physicians for Human Rights, have been trying to reach the Israeli genocidal authorities to check on him and see his whereabouts and his safety. And last we heard yesterday, Israel now is denying that he's even there. And they have been playing this game all along. This means most probably that either they killed him or he's in a bad condition and they don't want to take any responsibility, and they start playing the game. Oh, we, the army, we don't know about him. He might be in the prison service. The prison service will say, no, we did not have him. And they keep playing this game. So no one has the right news until people forget about the situation. Then after a while, we know or we hear that something bad happened to him. They did this before. Many doctors have been murdered during abduction. One of them is one of the most renowned orthopedic surgeon. His name is Dr. Nidal Jboor. He was abducted by Israel earlier this year, and he was detained at that torture detention center that's called SD Taman. It is just outside of Gaza. Israel has built this facility to torture the detainees and the prisoners there. Few of them were doctors. As I mentioned, Dr. Adnan Al-Borsh, he was the head of the orthopedic unit at Al-Shifa Hospital. He was tortured for almost 40 days. Unfortunately, he was even raped to death. And we have an investigation, even from the Israeli whistleblowers, that proves that. Unfortunately, what is happening continues to get worse by the day. There is a full-scale extermination campaign now happening in the north of Gaza. They are attacking everything that moves. They're destroying everything. They're destroying the hospitals, the school, the buildings. They are killing every form of life. It's not just genocide, actually. This is something that's even beyond genocide, that has been live streamed in front of all of us for more than 15 months. It is our moral obligation as doctors, healthcare workers, and civilians of the world, and as good Americans, we should stand up. We should refuse to be part of this crime, not in our name, not with our weapons, not with our bombs. I think more than 80% of the American people are against this. They did not give consent for this. The system is broken. It only works to the benefit of special interest of lobbies, the Zionist lobby, whether it's Jewish Zionist lobby or Christian Zionist lobby. And we, the regular people of America, are the ones who are paying for this, and also are going to be blamed for this down the road. That's why we should mobilize more. We should ask our fellow Americans and our medical institutions stand up. Unfortunately, the Western medical institutions, the American medical institutions, including the AMA, including the American Pediatric Society, American Psychiatric Society, all of them have been silent. Their moral bankruptcy is very embarrassing and shameful. They always claim to be on the right side of history. They always claim that they are, stand up for all lives, but their moral bankruptcy, their double standard have been exposed in the last year. The AMA and none of these institutions has issued any statement for ceasefire. Last year, we tried many times for them not to take any side, just to issue a call for ceasefire, and it has been shut down, and they refuse to take any stand or any call to stop this madness and mass slaughter. We think that these institutions are also complicit in the genocide, and they should go. The AMA, American Institution, was part of the institutions that were silent on the Holocaust. They were part of the institutions that were instrumental during slavery. They never took the right position when it mattered. And we are calling them out that they too are part of this complicity in genocide, and they are enabling the genocide. We are mobilizing our colleagues to stand up and expose these institutions and force them to take the right stand. I have my colleague, Dr. Karama Hawash, the co-founder also of Doctors Against Genocide. She's going to talk more about our actions that we are taking now. I just wanted to take a general talk about, in general, about what is happening in Gaza. Of course, they are claiming that Dr. Abu Safiya and his colleagues are terrorists, which is a false claim. They claim this about every hospital, about every institution. You cannot have children who are terrorists. They have been murdering children. We have more than 20,000 children who have been mass slaughtered by Israel, and these are not terrorists. Dr. Abu Safiya is not terrorist. We have been talking to him for a whole year. Israel itself never mentioned that he is a terrorist or has any links to terrorism. Only now, after he was obtained and abducted, they are claiming this. They never showed any evidence. It's all fabrications and justifications for genocide. Again, thank you, Anastasia, for giving me the opportunity, and I'll stop at this point. And if there's any question, I'll be happy to answer. Thank you.